Welcome to Engineering Unboxed, where every day is Christmas. Diesels are notorious for putting soot in the engine oil. I'm going to show you a way to get the soot the hell out of there. Soot is the enemy of engine oil. Even current diesel engines still produce some soot, and it gets into the oil. If you look at my 2019 Ford Mule, in the Ford owner's manual, it gives you the oil change interval, and then it says if you're doing heavy towing or working the truck hard, you should change the oil more often. Why is that? My suspicion is, as the soot builds up in the oil package, when you're working harder, you're producing more soot. Some of it goes out and gets trapped in the DPF, the diesel particulate filter, and some of it goes past the rings into the oil. That's just how it is. I had a look at the oil the other day in this Ford. It's still the factory fill. It's overdue for changing. And I thought, you know what? Let's have a look at that oil. And lo and behold, there's soot in the damn oil. The problem is that today's conventional oil filters only filter down to about 20 microns. But I've been hearing about bypass filtration systems for 60 years. I've never tried one. So I thought, I'm going to try one on that Ford. So I called up my buddies at AMSOIL and I said, you guys make bypass oil filtration systems, right? And they said, yeah, well, what do you need? And I said, I got a 2019 Ford. And they said, one's in the mail today. So I got it. Let's have a look at what we've got here. So a bypass oil system takes a small percentage of the engine oil from a high pressure source. It could be at the stock oil filter location. It could be where the oil pressure sensor is located. It varies from application to application. So what do we get in the box here? So it's a two-stage pleated and layered construction, fully synthetic, marine powder-coated shell, and it's 98.7% efficient absolute at 2 microns per the ISO standard 4548-12. At 2 microns, the media is so refined in this thing, it could be a diesel fuel filter. Okay, we've got a length of Parker air brake hose. That's pretty cool. So this stuff has a working pressure of 500 pounds. If you're running 50 to 100 pounds of oil pressure, you got a 5 to 10 to 1 over design. A lot of headroom with this stuff. It's not going to fail. It looks like we've got, here's the source of the oil for the Ford. So this spins on where your oil filter would be. The oil filter spins onto it. An 1/8 pipe port on the side feeds to the bypass filter. Might as well have a look at this filter while we're at it. I predict this rascal will hold a lot of very fine particles. Now, I haven't read the instructions, but I think I figured this out. This is the return fitting, and I think it replaces the oil cap where you fill the oil. So it's got ramps machined into it. It twists in and seals just like the stock filler cap does. So the line coming out of the filter goes to this. Now there's got to be an intermediate step here that mounts the filter itself. I'm pretty sure this is it. Sweet. The oil flow is from the outside through these ports out to the outside of the filter media, through the filter media to the center, and back through this control orifice that controls the flow rate of the oil. And the last thing in the box, other than the instructions, is all the hose fittings and mounting hardware. Now, these hose ends are not just push-ons. These are high-quality industrial hose ends, swivels. Very nice package. There's tie wraps and what appears to be some Loctite. These guys package stuff the way we do. I really like this. You don't have to go to the hardware store and get tie wraps or whatever else you might need. So this is designed for work truck use. Hot shot, big trailer, camper, whatever you're doing, long mountain grades, you're not buzzing the snot out of the engine like you are in a racing application. This I would not use on a racing engine, but boy, it's money for every other use. Let's take a hot shot, for example. You've got a hell of an aerodynamic load, even on flatland. You're into the throttle more. With a diesel, that's producing more soot. The more you get into it, working the truck, all these late model trucks, since they started using diesel particulate filters, have been tuned to minimize the soot output in the first place. Tuning that way also helps mileage and engine efficiency. But the diesel particulate filter is still absorbing soot and regenerating to burn that soot up so that the filter does not become too restrictive. So there's soot being produced, there's soot getting into the oil. With a setup like this, you can go way beyond the recommended oil change interval. I am convinced that if you intend to keep your truck for any period of time beyond the warranty, this is great insurance. I'm certainly doing it.